Welcome back. And in today's video, we're going to go through the 4 biggest mistakes that brands make with email marketing and how you can avoid them. Now, it's pretty safe to say that email is going to be one of the highest revenue generators for your brand. But if you're making any one of these mistakes, it could mean that you're being held back from maximizing your potential with email marketing. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. And for number 1, a lot of brands make this mistake, is sending too many sales emails. Now, I'm a huge advocate for selling constantly to your audience because they've signed up to your list for a reason. But that being said, you shouldn't really do that through discounts because on one hand, it's definitely going to harm your margin. And on the other hand, if you're sending out too many discounts, your customers are just going to become blind to it. So they're going to ignore your emails eventually, and it just tarnishes your brand image. So I would definitely avoid this. We have brought on brands before who have been used to sending out discounts nearly every week. And trust me when I say this, it is quite hard to get customers out of that habit and get them out of that mindset of being trained to always buy when there's a discount. So you can definitely dig yourself a hole there if you're constantly sending discounted emails. Now, number 2 is not enough email flows. So this is a huge thing that I see with a lot of brands that we audit. Now, obviously, you'll want to make sure that you're having at least your welcome series, your abandoned cart, your abandoned checkout, browse abandonment, and post-purchase. But there are a few other flows that a lot of brands seem to leave out, and that could include, just off the top of my head, your site abandonment flow, obviously your sunset unengaged flow as well. There's obviously another few nice ones you can do, like a because you open flow, where if someone has opened, let's say, X amount of emails in a certain amount of time and they haven't purchased, you can give that customer some form of incentive. So there are a few flows there that a lot of brands do tend to leave out. And in another video, I can actually dive deeper into how to build out these flows. But at least you will want to have, again, your welcome, your cart, checkout, your browse abandonment, and your post-purchase. At least you want to have those 5. I even see some brands leaving these out. And as well, especially for Shopify stores, do not mix up your abandoned cart and your abandoned checkout. If you're looking to set up an abandoned cart, you need to set up the custom snippet or the code snippet on your Shopify store to start tracking that added to cart event. It's a bit confusing because in Klaviyo, they have an abandoned cart there ready for you. It's built out, but that is started from the checkout started event. So it's a bit confusing, but just if you're running a Shopify store, make sure that you know that an abandoned cart is completely different to an abandoned checkout. And that's a massive area that I see a lot of brands falling down on. Now, thirdly, using too many CTAs in one email. So a lot of brands do this and it can get very confusing, and you look like this guy, Mr. Bean here, reading an email if there's too many CTAs in it. So if you're sending like a product focused email, you don't want to have, let's say at the top of the email saying shop now, and then later it's saying read our blog, and then at the end it's saying go to our social media. The more options you give someone, the less likely they are to actually pick one of them. It's information overload. So definitely avoid this at all costs. When you're writing emails, try and stick to one idea, maybe one product, and one clear CTA. Don't confuse it by asking people to do 3 or 4 different things because they're just not going to do any of them. Now, finally, is not sending enough campaigns. Now, you definitely want to have a decent sending frequency for your brand. And it's actually nearly better to send more frequently, but let's say the emails might be okay-ish. It's definitely better to send more frequently if your emails are okay, rather than sending, let's say, twice a month and your emails are 10 out of 10. They're beautifully designed. The copy is amazing. Because if you're constantly sending to your customers, you're constantly staying top of mind. So you definitely need to do that. Now, what we like to do is we like to test out how many emails we send per month or per week. And generally for our clients, it seems to be anywhere between 8 to 12 emails per month. Now, how we try to test this is, let's say we might start off with two emails a week, and then we might up that to, let's say, 3 emails a week. And if the conversions and, let's say, the open rates, the click rates, and obviously the revenue, if that starts to increase when we up that to 3 emails, we'll start sending 3 emails a week. And then we'll do it again. We'll add another email a week. And if the sales and the engagement is increasing, we might even increase that again. But generally what we find is once we start increasing the sending frequency on a weekly basis, so if we go from 3 to 4 to maybe 5, there will come a point where your returns are going to diminish. Your sales are going to not be as effective, or your click rates, your open rates won't be going up as you'd like them to be. So you're going to get a point where your returns are going to diminish, and you'll obviously decide then to taper back a campaign a week if you're sending an extra one and you're not really getting much more results out of that. And obviously you want to make sure that you're monitoring unsubscribe and spam rates as well, because if they start to increase, that's another sign as well that you might need to taper off. So I think that wraps it up, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope that these 4 mistakes, now that you're aware of them, that you can avoid them. And yeah, thanks very much for watching this, and I will have another video coming out next week. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and yeah, there'll be plenty more of these coming, guys. So thanks very much for watching this.